Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. Today I would like to run through my favourite new additions coming in Star Citizen 4.1. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members. Cannot do this without you guys, so thank you so much for the support. It is truly appreciated. So, Star Citizen 4.1 is getting very close to releasing to live, and with it comes some interesting and important updates. So today I would like to run through what I consider to be the best new additions of 4.1 and explain a little bit about why. Before we get to that though, the TOBII Tracker 5 is on sale at 15% off, and using the link below will take you to that deal, while also providing my channel with a direct kickback, and a big thank you to all of you who have done so already. So let us kick off with one of the bigger updates coming in 4.1, and that is all of the improvements and updates that are coming for mining. Now, this new patch brings a huge update to the mining profession in many areas. Firstly, they have separated FPS and ground vehicle mining, meaning you will not be mining the same minerals for each of these types, and instead they have introduced many more new minables for both methods. Each new mineable scales in difficulty, while also adding to the overall number of available raw resources that will be continuously increased over time and become more and more important as things like crafting come along, as well as more economy updates and general missions tasking players with acquiring specific materials. And in fact, starting with 4.1, the new Banu character, Wikullo, specifically requests certain minables from players for various rewards. Now, with the separation of FPS and ground vehicle minables brings updates to the Rock, which is currently the only proper sort of ground mining vehicle at this time, although I'm sure there will be many more to come in the future. But for the Rock and the Rock DS, there are now 4 options when it comes to mining laser head attachments, each one offering trade-offs, suiting each mineral type in different ways. And not to mention the 2 new mining vehicles being the Drake Golem, which is a new single-seat ship, and the Atlas Geo. And with the addition of these 2 new vehicles, this kind of paves the way for a much more granular path throughout the whole mining profession, presenting smaller stepping stones for those of you who want to work your way from the ground up, getting eventually to the Prospector or Mole. Not to mention, when ships like the Arastra and Orion come along, there will be even more levels. Now, I'm sure in the future we will see many more ways to mine, including a dedicated handheld tool, as we see for hauling and salvaging. But with the Geo and these other updates, it's really helping to further flesh this mining profession out more. There are still many things to do for mining, lots of quality of life improvements that could come along, but what we are seeing here is a big step forward, and with these Wikullo missions, I will certainly be picking up the Geo and dusting off my Prospector and getting back to doing more mining. Now, talking about the 2 new vehicles, these came as a bit of a surprise. The Drake Golem is a very cool single-seat ship dedicated to mining. It's a little bit more limited than the Prospector in terms of what it has to offer, like there's no interior, and although it looks like there is just a single mining laser head at the moment, I'm sure there will be options down the line. But the Drake Golem is a great option for those working maybe as a small mining group with transportation and storage, or someone just wanting to dip their toes into the mining profession, as I do suspect the Golem will be a bit cheaper than the Prospector, both in-game of course and with real money if you want to buy it. Now, the Atlas Geo is a very exciting new power suit, and as stated, I will certainly be picking one up, but for me it's more about what it means going forwards that excites me than what it is generally capable of doing. Now, it shows that there is a lot of potential to see more of these power suits for all areas of Star Citizen, and not just from Argo, but other manufacturers as well. For example, we know about the existence of this Titan suit combat armor from Virgil, but also how this new Atlas elevates both the base Atlas and the Geo with new damage states and health indicator, a battery compartment ready for when engineering comes along, more attachment points for equipment. Also, it utilizes these 1/8 SEU boxes, but most importantly, the jump jets. With those now a potential part of the game, where else could we see these jump jets come along? Now, there are a lot of very cool updates with the Geo and with the Golem, so a great couple of new additions that I just did not expect at all. Now, this next new addition is actually one of my favorites. it is all of the new Hathor locations. And these new locations are not exciting to me because of the event that comes with them, but more for the open-ended gameplay that they will offer post-event. Now, these new points of interest serve a purpose for new mission locations. I think there's a couple of collection missions requiring players to go and retake some cargo back from the groups that have stolen it. And as mentioned, this new Align and Mine event dropping with 4.1, in which players need to get this orbital mining laser lined up and then blast open a cave where you can go mining and find some interesting loot. But what interests me about these places is how even when you're not doing the event, or when the event is finished, they will still be there and they will be available for players to do all manner of different things, be that trying to align the laser and gain access to the cave, or just going there and looting the place, stealthing your way around, or going in guns blazing with the AUG, using tonks and all sorts of other firepower, different tactics and vehicles, just to make money. Every time we get a new point of interest into the PU, it opens up a lot of gameplay, both PvE and PvP, but also exploration, investigation, all the other mission types that we have can point to these locations. They also all add towards the whole cluster and sector update that we will be seeing come along that we saw at CitizenCon, where the planets will be dotted with a lot of points of interest. There is also quite a few of them with this patch, with 3 moons housing them, I believe, being Daymar, Aberdeen and Yella, and upon each moon there are 3 planetary alignment facilities with space stations above, plus I think that each one has a bunker of some form or a cave, so that's essentially 9 facilities, quite spaced out from one another, 3 space stations, and then I guess 3 bunkers or 3 caves, each offering opportunities for players to make money or explore, but of course not with its own dangers. Now, what I hope to see in the future with most locations, but these included, are abandoned versions of them, without any gangs inside, sort of derelict, but maybe taken over by dangerous creatures, or a really dangerous single creature lurking in the shadows that kills anything that comes close. That would be a lot of fun, especially if we don't know it's there. Not to mention, when we get weather, approaching these locations in the day or night is one thing, but when you've got sandstorms or rainstorms and blizzards and all different manner of weather, it is just going to make it so much more interesting. Right, next up, we have the new Banu. Well, the first Banu. In fact, it's the very first proper alien character in the game. Wakulo, aka the Collector, is a new mission giver found in 3 locations in Stanton and offers players a wide range of gathering and collecting jobs in which we are rewarded with collectible items and not credits, items that we can treasure. This type of mission giver is a much needed addition and can continue to scale and offer new rewards requiring new items to be collected anytime new minables come in or a new asset is created. It will also offer gameplay for everybody, from the solo player doing the early missions and getting a new weapon or getting an armor suit, up to the large AUG group missions in which you may need to take on a adult Valakar to get some resources to be rewarded with a Polaris. So giving us all something interesting to get on with, and not to mention trading these items or selling them to other players who don't want to go and do these missions or don't have the time or just can't achieve the necessary steps. Not to mention, I really love Wakulo's Emporium. It is full of all sorts of random items, from Star Citizen's past to present, subscriber items, all very unique and a lot of Easter eggs. And again, this is just the start of a character like Wakulo. There will be others like him, plus many more missions and items to request or earn being added over time. Now, the final individual addition that I am really happy and excited to see in the game are the Juvenile Valakar. Now, these were kind of snuck into the 4.0 build without any mention, and although they offer a little danger and intrigue when wandering around the various places that they inhabit, it's their bigger counterparts that I'm really excited for. Now, the adult and apex sandworms might not be in 4.1, they might be yet, we still don't know, they might be waiting until it goes live, but as it stands right now, nobody's found them, so I'm assuming they're not in. But these juveniles certainly give you an idea of what it's gonna feel like when, for example, you're mining away on Daymar's surface in a geo or a rock, and then out of nowhere, a huge apex sandworm can just pop up, and then you're pretty much fighting for your life. For now, checking out these juveniles and seeing what they're all about is fascinating, not to mention reading about the AI behind them, as they have had various updates to their underground movement speeds, their visual and audible perception ability, and the range of which they will detect you and then travel underground to get to you, and their spitting attacks, all of which go into creating a unique, believable creature that will just help to further flesh out the verse with interesting fauna. And I'm sure this year we will see many more creatures, most of which will probably be snuck into the build without telling any of us. So do be careful when you're exploring the forests of MicroTech, or delving into the caves, or the vast space stations, as there could be new creatures lurking and watching. Now those are the individual new additions that I love coming to Star Citizen 4.1. We also have a lot of other updates, improvements, and balancing going on to many areas of the verse. A couple of new smaller honourable mentions are the Vault AR weapon and this new armour set, which looks like the tracker armour, the heavy tracker, both of which can be found, I believe, in the security office of the Hathor ground facility. And for this new armour, although we are still awaiting the Starware updates where it brings all the different specs, when that does come in, it is great to have as many different types of armors as possible. Now, many ships also got updated in various areas, like slaving weapons to the pilot, the Corsairs had a lot of updates, the Valkyrie as well, plus many other tweaks and tunings to get things like flight up to snuff, with, I'm sure, a lot more to come. There was a specific NPC bug, or AI bug, that was affecting their reactions or ability to spot the player and react to them, which is now fixed, and thus it says 4.1 NPCs should be a lot more reactive. They've also improved the vehicle radar display to make it easier and smoother to see what's going on. They've updated the ship physics, so collisions between ships make sense depending on the ship's mass and speed, so small fighters will literally just pop when they crash into the side of a Polaris, and those on board the Polaris won't even notice. And importantly, many more bug fixes alongside all of these other quality of life updates, just improving that playability. And as they stated, this year is not so much about features, but more about content, fixes, and improving what we have. And I suspect that 4.1 will release by the end of next week, so the end of March, and then 4.1.1 will likely hit the PTU almost immediately afterwards, bringing hot fixes and more bug fixes, just continuing to take Star Citizen's persistent universe to that playable and stable state. Now, I personally am having a great time on the PU. There are still a few issues here and there, but for me it is much smoother than it has ever been, and 4.1 will just add more to all of this while they continue to improve that playability and stability, which is already making a big difference. But that was the rundown of my favourite new additions for Star Citizen 4.1. Be sure to let me know what you are most excited for in this build, and here is to many more patches this year with, as I say, 4.1.1 probably on the way out as soon as 4.1 goes live. There will likely be a 4.1.2 bringing more updates and not just hot fixes, and so on and so forth. But with that said, if you do enjoy my videos, please do consider subscribing and helping the channel to grow. It is much appreciated. Also, if you want to see me playing Star Citizen live, you are more than welcome over at twitch.tv/SuperMacBrother. The link is below. Or you can watch me here live on YouTube. I stream to both now. Also, if camping is your thing, be sure to check out my second YouTube channel, in which I head out camping in the great outdoors, literally living off-grid in the real world. Got a couple of videos up there already. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind, it does the channel a big favour, and tick that notification bell if you'd like to be notified when my videos go live. Again, a huge thank you to my patrons and channel members. Cannot do this without you guys, so thank you so much for the support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.